We're welcoming you here in Red Gallery. Today we are opening an event called Euromaidan. The key point of this event is to raise an awareness of local people, local English people, not only English people but also the tourists and people from around the world, just to let them know what are the core reasons of things that's happening in Ukraine. All these peaceful protests, secret services on the streets, fires, death, kidnappings from the secret services. So it's turned out that not a lot of people here in London and in the UK know what is the real picture, real picture of events that happen in Ukraine. That is quite sad. That made us think that we need to do something to familiarize people with things that's going on. I hope that we succeed. I hope that more and more local people would come to get more info from real witnesses of events in Ukraine. So come, talk to us, ask questions, expect good answers, participate in discussions, look at the pictures, look at the paintings, look at photos, and raise your awareness of things that happen in Ukraine. Don't stay aside. Thank you very much. Come and see us.
I cannot imagine such a situation in the UK, because what is happening in Ukraine is that the government are attacking their own people. And we had a situation a year ago when the Occupy movement, and there was an occupation of the City of London in protest against the financial banking cartel. And what happened was the people were allowed to stay there and they were removed by legal means. No police, no beating up, no fighting. The City of London took the movement to court and they were there for a year or so. And only then did they move by legal means. There was no violence. There couldn't be violence. If for a moment the police had touched the people, then of course I would have been out in the streets, as would everybody. It's unthinkable that the government can attack its own people. I think here in the gallery there is a mixture of protest. I mean, we have this picture here which is an ironic protest. The images we have here kind of express that hope and peace and innocence, because you know you cannot fight for peace. You can only peace for peace, and that's what I am feeling here in this exhibition. The images are not violent, they are peaceful and hopeful.
Exhibition, well, it's a very good contrast. I mean, it's very interesting to see the protest movement. I hope it gets to continue, because it's a democratic country shouldn't be afraid of people who are dissenters and have different opinions, and it's important. I support it. I want stability and peace in Ukraine. I want people to actually come together. If they are a country, if they want to be a country, to come together and make their country a better place, ultimately, including the rich ones and the ones who are pro-Russian and pro-European. Starting with people in Ukraine, I think the important thing is I would like them to have the kind of government we have, where a vote is important, but you can trust your leaders. I heard a very good statement about Danish politics. They said, we hate our politicians, but we trust them. Now that will be a good thing in Ukraine. You hate your politicians, but you do trust them. And I don't think it's like that right now. I think people here, it's to be more aware. I mean, it's Friday night. Some people are thinking of going out right now. their mind is not on Ukraine or other politics and other problems in the world, and it should be, just a little bit, you know.
My name is Urte, and basically this is a video manipulation. So I used video footage from the Putin speech, and I put the sound from a movie called Dictator. So basically the movie is about Hitler, and Charlie Chaplin is playing a Hitler's role, and I used the speech from the final scene when the dictator tells the speech, which is completely opposite to what Hitler would say. So basically the speech is really democratic and really like about how people should live in peace and should love each other instead of fighting, and you know. So basically I just used this footage, I put the sound from the movie and just made this message. I'm just questioning democracy and dictature and like these things.
What was the idea behind this project?
This is the idea, questioning what is democracy and what is, you know, pressure, repression and, you know, dictature. So yeah, that's the main.
Well, the idea came very spontaneously. I lived through the revolution in Prague in 1989, and obviously kind of watching the recent happenings in Ukraine, I felt lots of similarities with the time when I was a student and I was experiencing the time of the revolution. And then, yeah, we had a chat with Gerda, who was helping me with the kind of creative part of the project, and we just said that we should do something, and in 1 week we managed to put this exhibition together. Vladimir's wife, Julie, she approached some Ukrainian photographers, and they started sending us loads of pictures, and then Gerda and Julie, they did the final selection, and then we approached some local-based artists as well to contribute with some of their works that will reflect the current happenings in Ukraine and kind of democracy in general. So that's kind of how we got the other stuff like from Urte, or the video art from a Slovakian artist called Jaroslav Kisha.
I'm not a politician, I'm not a builder or anyone who could do a real work. But the art is what myself and people around me can express and say our opinion. So we approach our friends basically and mainly. And during the 2 nights, they spend their time, they didn't sleep, and they draw or edit the videos, and they really wanted to express and show the support as well. So that's our way to say that we are these people who stand in the cold now, and they really give all of them what they can.
So, and I think the whole project is basically a message. It's a message to young Ukrainian people in Kiev and in other cities that people abroad see what is happening in Ukraine, and we care, and we will be watching it until the situation will get solved, hopefully. I think in the first place, London is an international city, and it's full of young people from all around the world. And many of these people are from countries that went through the similar democratic process. Doesn't matter if it's Latin America or East Europe or back in the day Spain. And I think all these people should be reminded that the democracy they've got in their countries was achieved through some revolutionary movement or some democratic process. And I hope that these people will come here and show support to young Ukrainians, because it's the same generation. And the other reason is that, from my perspective, Ukraine is Europe. It's one of the biggest countries in Europe, and that's how this country should be treated.
French, so I like very much revolution. I can say I'm very impressed by Ukrainian people. Very impressive.
Are you supportive of?
Yes, enormously.
Right. Do you think that if ever there was a situation where in your own country there was such a situation where there was a fight for democracy, a fight for freedom, you would take it to the streets as well?
Me personally or the people?
You personally
Yeah,
and the people?
Yeah, I would, but I hope the people as well would do. In France, I mean, we are very revolutionary, at least in the past. So the reason we are very impressed by Ukraine, by such a mobilization of the people. And as well, it was very impressive to be so non-violent. I mean, in France, we are more violent than that.
What do you think people can do more, both in the Ukraine and in England, to support Ukrainian nation, to support Ukraine as a democratic country?
Yeah, awareness. I mean, get as many people aware and support the position. As well, for you, it's very impressive that people are using the European flag to show that they want democracy on all its rules. So it's yes, so to make more publicity, trying to do that peacefully. But if you have to, I mean, I guess you have to defend yourself. So
I'd like to say that I'm really, really impressed with this exhibition. Amazing pictures from Ukraine. Pictures of just people of Ukraine, not parties, not political parties, not political leaders, the people of Ukraine. And that is a very, it goes into your heart when you're looking at those ordinary people of Ukraine who are fighting for freedom, for living in free country, for their children's future. They're not fighting for any political parties. Lots of people who are on Maidan, they are not political at all. So I would really like people to come and see this exhibition because it's really important for people around the world to understand what is happening in Ukraine now. Because I don't think media can express it that much. I think newspapers, what we're using in newspapers is opinion of somebody who looking at the countries or looking at what's happening in a country and maybe even haven't been in a country, maybe we haven't been in Ukraine, just watching the videos. I think people should come here and look for themselves. Look at those pictures, look at the eyes of those people who are on Maidan, and they will understand what is happening there because the picture will tell you. The pictures won't lie and people's faces won't lie.
I have come here because I want to see these pictures and they've been great. They've been very informative. I think a lot of more people should come along and see them. And also to get a feeling of the excitement that's going on in Ukraine. It's an expression of hope and future and opportunities for these countries to come out of, I don't know, half a century of suppression and lack of opportunity and fear to something which has a lot more hope for the future. You know, a chance where we have proper institutions, proper well-run governments, independent courts, proper elections.
But the main thing about the protest is people are there to fight corrupt regime, to fight against what's really become like a dictatorship, similar to the dictatorship in Russia and in Belarus. And people are denied their basic human rights. The situation in Ukraine is such that people can't, they can't work. You can't have a business legally. For example, if you start a business, they will basically force you to give up the business to them or buy it for a reasonably small amount. So basically it's hard for people in Ukraine even to make a living. And to add to that, as you know, recently the government has even outlawed free speech and has outlawed the freedom of press, has tortured many people, has murdered many people, has kidnapped people, and I mean the situation is horrible. I mean even the courts in Ukraine, they're not real. They're basically the judges, they're like for hire by the government. The government itself is not real. The ministers of parliament for the ruling party, they're basically, a lot of them are just like paid politicians. And, they're not really representative of the people. Yes, it brings back some memories from Maidan, the time I spent there was really great. It's such an environment filled with such love. You have so many diverse people there from so many different backgrounds, you know, people who speak Russian, Ukrainian, and what I see, well, what I see here, it doesn't, you know, it just gives you a superficial glimpse of what's happening over there. I think it's more important to engage with people in a dialogue one-on-one so they really know what's going on. The pictures make a good starting point for that, and you know, this is really an excellent exhibition. You know, there's a similar photo display outside the Maidan in Kiev, and I mean, it really does a wonderful job of showing people, you know, the injustices, for example, that are happening in Ukraine.
People who came for our exhibition, for our gallery, don't regret about it, because all our photos are really truly. It's a real, true history of Ukrainian of 21st century. Someone of these photographers who gave us this photo has problem with health because they work in front line. You should come and see it, because it's big and very hard work from Ukraine, which we very want to show. London is an international city, and many people from another country lives here, and they share this city, and we want to share our exhibition and our photos. It's really interesting, it's really important for us, for you, for all.